Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in the lab. We are back in the studio. We are back in the creative haven. This is I Love You, Say It Back. It's the podcast. I'm your host, Vic D. Kind of a little bit different tonight, this week. We got our producer, not producer Eric. He's off in Vegas doing God knows what. We got producer Jake today.
What up?
Add that to the resume. Artist, producer, salesman. Anything else you want to add there?
Director, designer, painter, sculptor,
porn star
extraordinaire.
Yeah,
they call me the Matador.
I like
kidding.
that.
No one's ever called me that.
Oh well,
it sounds cool though.
Maybe after this podcast, we'll be calling you that. The Matador.
It sounds cool, right?
Glad you're in. Yeah. Glad you're in, man. Yeah, we got our producer Jake coming off of a art show, which we'll get into in a second. Hope you guys had a chance to go out and check that out. We're talking about it, so it's exciting stuff. But yeah, we're back in studio. Crazy weekend. We got lots to hit on. I took a road trip down to San Diego over the weekend. Went to Boots in the Park over there, and that was a crazy lineup. Couldn't miss it. Went down there and checked that out. I realized something I've always known, but something that like I just don't put up with on road trips. So we'll get into that. The eclipse, one of the biggest things that's happened, and we've talked about over the last couple of weeks, that happened yesterday. Today's Tuesday, the 9th, so that was going on yesterday. I'll give you my thoughts on it. We have our Shut the Fuck Up of the week. Some food stuff. Is ice cream actually good for you? A segment we call Shut Up and Accept the Information. New segment there. Morgan Wallen in trouble again. We'll talk about that. Just recap on everything. Of course, we got our trivia and a lot more that we're going to get into. But before we do, ladies and gentlemen, I want to remind you, brought to you by Rev Nutrition, fueling the podcast. And also one of our favorite products, Define 8 supplements. Go check them out. Get it wherever you are. If you want, ladies, I know, so much of our target audience is ladies who are trying to get fit, need a little boost of energy, extra little fat burners, got the thermogenic in there. It's going to help you in every aspect. A mood enhancer, the mental clarity. It's why we love it here on the podcast. We do not do a podcast without it. Actually, we're trying a new flavor today. This one is Mango Peach Blast. What'd you think? Have you taken the shots of it yet?
Yeah, I downed them already. Pretty good.
Dude, the flavored Mango Peach just, sign me up twice. But that was fantastic. So thank you for showing the love. Also, as important it is to take your Defines and your supplements, you got to invest in your sleep. And for that, you got to head over to the Mattress Space Furniture Outlet with our boy C's. He's going to get you taken care of. Hands down, the best prices on the best mattresses that you'll find. Buck Owens Boulevard. Tell them we sent you. Oh, side note, if you go to Rev also, make sure you mention the podcast. You'll get 20% off. They just had a big event over the weekend that a lot of people were showing me. They're like, look, I got my discount. I got my 20% off. And they already had like discounts there. It was pretty cool to see. So keep going, keep showing love. And also head down to the Mattress Space. Get you a new bed. Invest in yourself. Invest in your sleep. Again, one of those things that the more we learn about sleep, the more we realize it's kind of important. Maybe should make it a little bit more of a priority rather than living like me, you, and Eric here recording a podcast at 5 a.m. But yeah, maybe if I had a mattress from C's, I'd be getting. Actually, I do have one from C's, but anyways, go down there, get you one, and tell him we sent you, and he'll pass on the love. So let's get into it. So I was talking about how I went down to Boots in the Park over the weekend. And the lineup was insane. It was Thomas Rhett headlining. It was Lee Bryce, and it was Scotty McCreery. And our boy Joe Peters, a local boy, did the anthem out there. It was cool to see him out there. Who else was out there? There was some Elena Springsteen was on earlier in the day. Just a good time. Good time with the boys. And so I left Friday after work. My other friends had already taken off because they went with a separate group. I went by myself on Friday. And listen, typically when you're going and riding with multiple people, just the natural thing that happens is you end up having to make a stop. Somebody's hungry, somebody needs to go to the bathroom, somebody's thirsty, somebody didn't prepare for this damn trip one way or another. You got to empty the tank before you get in the car. And I mean like your bladder tank. Right? So one thing that I notice is that when I am by myself, when I ride by myself, there's no stopping. There's no stop. Well, I'm not stopping unless it's an absolute dire emergency and I'm dying and I need to go to the bathroom, folks. I left here and it was a crazy thing because I went down. To get to my buddy's house, which is where I was staying, it said it was like 3 hours and like about 3.5 hours. I'm driving up and then I get a notification. You know, when GPS switches from like, 3 hours. And by the time I got to the Grapevine, it was like just about 3 hours even. And then it switched to like 6 hours and 54 minutes because it was telling you it was something happened on the Grapevine. There was like multiple car accidents, something like it was going to be like, all right, you're in for the long run if you go up this road. So it's telling me to go back towards the 58 to get the Tehachapi way. And that's what I ended up doing is I just made my way back.
The whole roundabout.
Yeah. Which wasn't as much of a setback as it sounds like. I was like, damn, this is going to be like 4+ hours now. It wasn't so bad. But anyways, 30 minutes into this drive, I'm like, ooh, I need to go to the bathroom. And mind you, I'm prepared. I got snacks and I emptied the tank. I'm not, I know how I am. I hate stopping. And I felt it. I was like, maybe it's because I had drank a lot of water earlier, about 30, 45 minutes into this. I'm like, yeah, I feel it. I kind of feel it, and that initial one, you're never really too concerned about. You're like, I can handle it. There's no problem. And then you get into it, you go, here goes another hour. And you're like, feeling a little bit more. And then I just made the conscious decision, Jake. At one point, I was just like, I'm not stopping. Like I've already been set back with this whole thing already. I go back around and I was like, I made the decision. I was like, I have 2 hours and 10 minutes in this road trip. And I was like, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to make it all the way to my buddy's house. And I'm not stopping. But I had that willpower. And
I was another 2 hours in you.
And I had another 2 hours, even though I had already gone about an hour and a half. And I was just like, I had 2 hours plus. And I was like, I'm not going to go. And you know what? I had no problem doing it. I mean, it was uncomfortable a little bit here, there, and some urologist or some doctor wannabe is going to be like, that's actually not good for you. Shut the fuck up. He's not going to hold it in. You got to release the pressure. Okay, listen, nerd. I'm trying to get to where I'm trying to get to as fast as possible. Folks, when I tell you that when I turn on GPS and GPS tells me just to throw out a number, you will be there by 5 p.m., the goal is not to get there by 5 p.m. It is a challenge accepted. It is I will not arrive there later than 4:40. Hopefully you get it into the 4:30s, depending on how long the road trip is. You have more time to cut into it. But the point is, if GPS tells me I'm going to get there at 5, it's like, okay, challenge accepted.
You gotta beat it. You have to beat it.
You have to beat it. You're not going to sit there and be like, well, I got here at 5, just like GPS. Shut the fuck up. Just like GPS predicted. Wow. You want to beat technology. And I think there's a lot of people who are like me, who are like, when it gives you that time, it says you'll arrive in 3 hours. It's like, well, now I'm shooting for 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
At the most, So, and when I pull over and stop, and mind you, it's never for me. I will hold it in if I need to. If I need to stop, it feels like every car that I passed up, I'm like, damn, I saw that earlier when I passed you up, nerd, and look at you just rolling on past me. I was like, what a waste of time. But when I'm riding by myself, when I don't have to worry about anybody else, and I'm not stopping for no water, I'm not stopping. I need to go pee. I don't know how you do it with kids. Yeah. But you're actually different. We were talking about this. I don't like to stop. I see the time as a challenge.
Yeah.
And you don't like long road trips. You have a little bit different perspective on it.
Yeah. I'm like, all right, one, just a quick little stretch, even if it's like 5 minutes or something. Or, my son, he's going to want to, get something to eat. Or if we're stopping, we meet in at the Target. So he's like, all right, let's go to Target, where we're here. So I'm like, that's going to be That's 20 minutes
Damn.
already, you know? So
He gets you in a Target. It's
Yeah,
one thing to
bro.
stop
And
by
that-
at a little gas station.
and it's a Target trip's not cheap anymore,
No,
you
dude,
know?
no.
It's like you're spending hundreds now. So
a
it's-
lot of ladies listening, they're like, "Oh my gosh, a quick pit stop at Target is at least $120 of Target tells you what you need." You know, like you don't go in there with the list. But that's wild. You are a lover. You must really love your kids because to stop on a road trip, I mean, I have a hard time stopping to stop and get water and take a pee break. You're like, "Sure, let's go to Target."
Yeah, I mean, I try to make the long trip easy so I don't have to hear it in the back. So I'll put like, you know, the snacks in the bag, maybe a pillow or something taken. It's awesome when he sleeps halfway through, you know? So
Yeah.
that's like the best. I'm just like gunning it. But those long trips, I hate them at the same time. But
you also
definitely gotta
drive
stop.
a Tesla too, so that makes it a little bit more of an
yeah, we
enjoyable
were talking about
drive.
the full self driving.
Yeah, man. I just want that. Like, are you able to control like how fast it goes?
Yeah, they stop. It maxes out at 85 miles per hour.
Oh,
So-
dorks. Come on,
I don't-
Elon, let's turn up this thing. We need to
But
get there
85,
faster.
when it's driving itself, it feels faster though.
That is right. That is
It's-
kind of scary.
It's kind of scary at 85, honestly.
Do you trust-
Especially the turns. Like I go, crap. So I'm like, I have my hand right there, you know?
Did it take you a while to like trust the?
Oh yeah, it took a minute.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to trust. I'd be like, I don't know.
I really tested it on the trip to Arizona though. We did like 3,500 miles, and like a good 80% of it, the car was driving itself.
Really?
Yeah,
And no issues.
no issues. It was awesome.
Okay, so I'll ask you this because I've never had anybody on that does, and this is just such a small conversation. Just like I've never driven a fully EV car. How is the charging situation? Is that like, are they making it pretty convenient?
Yeah, it's pretty convenient, dude. Especially for Tesla, they have their supercharging network. I mean, there's one like every stop. You don't really have any issues if you're gonna find one or not. And I really test it too. Like it says it's gonna be there at 5%. Like I'll get there pretty much, you know, between 4 and 6 at the destination.
Yeah, you push
You know,
it.
I'll push it to the limit.
Yeah, and then how much does it cost, or what's that?
You'll end up stopping. Like I said, it's that, you know, maybe use the restroom, get some food. That's like a 30-minute stop already. So by the time I get finished, like the car is maxed out.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't take
And
very
that's
long.
only going to cost me like maybe like $18.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, we need to get Tesla as a sponsor. That's fine if you.
Hit up
if you-
Elon. Elon, what's up, man?
Yeah, Elon, what's up? Let's get you on the podcast. It's fine if you want to keep it at 85 as long as you throw me a Tessie. I'll take that. Just give me a Tessie. We'll make it work. But yeah, so yeah, it's just funny how it's just two completely different people. And like, I have a buddy who's, I actually reference him a lot on here. Dan, I feel like he's the most patient, sweetest person like in the world. And he has no problem like stopping. And I feel like that's kind of similar to you. You're like, yeah, sure. If we need to stop, we're going to stop. But you actually were telling me that you like to break it up. So like long trips are no fun.
Yeah.
So if you could make it feel like a smaller trip, like you're
Right.
like, okay, I only have to get to here. I'ma just
Gun it.
all or nothing. Like we're going all the way.
So what's the max amount of hours that you've put in on just one without stopping? Like,
Well, okay, so
is it
there-
just till you're on E or what?
yeah, so I will go until my gas tank tells me you need to stop. And then because I'm already stopping, I will take advantage of that bathroom
Right.
break. I'm like, look, I'm not going to make 2 stops, and we're going to take advantage and make the most out of this one. But yeah, I'll go full tanks, man. Like the last one that I remember taking was in January. Was it in January? Yeah, I went up to NorCal to the Redwoods, and I had a stop. The tank wasn't as big as my truck tank, so it was a little bit more frequent, but I mean, it wasn't too bad. I didn't stop unless I had to get gas. So, which since it was a smaller tank, it was a little bit more frequent. But
What is it to fill up your tank right now?
right now I'm a 23-gallon truck. Yeah, it's not fun, and it's right around, depending on where you go, just right around 115. Yeah,
shit.
getting up to like 110, 115. It's not fun, man.
Yeah,
Especially
that
when
sucks.
we'll go like somewhere and my buddy like fills up his tank and he's like, oh, it's so expensive, $45. And it is expensive, man. I'm telling you, like, just because someone pays more for something doesn't mean that they're probably used to paying like 28, $25. Like, so for them, that 45 really does make a lot. So,
Right.
this is leading into another rant that I had not scheduled in. And I'm going to save this. I'm just going to tease this rant. When we start getting into, it's starting to warm up a little bit this week. We're going to be like mid 80s. But in about a month or two, we're going to be like peak of heat, right? So we're going to be like 110, 111. And I'm going to come on here and I'm going to be like, boy, sure is hot as hell. Yeah, it was 115. And some fucking dork from, I'm sorry, Arizona. I don't know why you went to Arizona. Do you have family or something over there?
No.
Someone,
He's like, I gotta be careful what I'm saying.
Yeah, people from Arizona are like,
I would never live out there. That's crazy.
You think that's hot? I'm from fucking this little shit town in Arizona. And it was 129. It's like, just because you were in 129 does not mean that 115 here is not hot. You cannot tell people just because you have it worse that they don't have a right to be like, this isn't hot. 115 is fucking hot. I don't care what you're saying.
You get angry when you're mad, like when you're hot, you know?
I have no patience. No patience for it. But yeah, I'm just one of those people, man. Luckily took this by myself, didn't have to stop, got there, no problem. And I will say, it's almost as good as the morning pee. You know that morning pee where you're just like, woof, and you feel like you lose like 3 pounds. You're like,
empty the tank.
How long was I sleeping for? Jeez. And so that's a gratifying little nugget at the end of that one. So don't be that guy who's constantly, and by guy, I mean obviously guy or girl, that's constantly saying, I have a small bladder. Hold it, do something about it. Pee in a bottle. Learn how to do that. But yeah, so that was my weekend. Side note, Boots in the Park was freaking incredible. Again, it was Thomas Rhett, Lee Brice, Scotty McCurry. Great night. Great lineup. Great music. It's one of these things, of my country listeners, that you forget. Obviously, I know Thomas Rhett, big artist, big deal. He mentioned he's like 22 number one songs. But you forget you can't remember. I remember like off top of my head, we were doing it with my buddies, and I was like, oh yeah, he's got this song, and we're like, what else? But then when you're in the concert, he just keeps coming out with bop after bop after bop, and that is just such a beautiful feeling. You're like, oh yeah, I remember this one. One thing that I love doing is recording before songs are playing. Like a lot of dorks will record. They're like, this is the song, and they start recording at the chorus. I like when it's dark in between songs and you don't know what's going to come up next. That is my like, ooh.
The surprise?
Yeah. Where they're like, wrote this song back in 2015 and blah, 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 blah. You may remember it. And then they get quiet for like 2 seconds, and then the beat kicks in, and you're like, let's go. That's one of my like guilty pleasures of like concerts. It's the surprise of what song is going to come up next. So that was a little bit of my weekend. Then obviously kind of spent it. We got into, doing karaoke, and I was with my buddy Joel, and we used to live together, and we used to like strum the guitars and just kind of mess around. And before I left, he's like, hey, one of the songs that we always did was like Hard to Love, Lee Brice. And he's like, one more for the road. Well, one more for the road kind of led off to like us strumming the guitars for like 3 hours and just singing horribly and just having fun with it. And then, of course, Lee Brice this morning got announced that he's going to be coming to Bakersfield. So that's exciting. I mean, we're needle movers, We put out a cover of Hard to Love by Lee Brice, and suddenly he gets announced to come to Bakersfield. And I'm just saying, hey, no coincidence. But that was my weekend. How was yours?
Dope, man.
I know you had the art show.
Yeah, the solo show, my first solo show. I was really excited about it. We had a great turnout. So it sold a lot of pieces, even some originals. A lot of prints were sold out.
That's cool. I didn't know you were telling me
man.
that you sold. I didn't know that you were actually, like, I thought it was just kind of like come out and admire the art. But people would actually take these pieces home, which is sick.
Yeah, it's such a blessing too, because like I wasn't expecting that, and to get I love art just for creating. I'm literally drawing you right now.
That's crazy. That's
so you guys are gonna see this at the end of the show, but just to share it and have other people appreciate it, man, that's the best thing ever.
Yeah, and what's funny is that you were showing me some of the pictures and videos from the show. And it's cool to see because some of these pieces you have hung up in here, and like and I just see how much work. It almost feels like damn, you're selling it. Like, I know how much work and detail and like thought and like just went into that, and how long you've been working on this. But I guess that's part of like why they sell for the price that they do sell for.
Look how bare it is in there. Like
yeah,
a lot
I
of this
know.
stuff
I know. I feel like it's cleaner in here, Eric. Clean things up around here. But that's cool, man. So you got a good turnout.
Yep.
Yes. I saw a lot of people like reposting your stuff. I wish I could have made it, but I had this, I had these tickets for this from a while ago, but
that's awesome.
would have loved to have been there. And I saw the long piece. That one was really cool. That was the Where's Waldo piece type of thing?
Yeah. So like my art kind of just draws you in, those like really search and find kind of Where's Waldo kind of thing. And I had over 80 pop culture references, and a lot of people that are coming in like, oh my God, this is like nostalgic, just to see all the different characters in there. So that was fun.
When do you have anything like that we can look forward to, like another show or something?
Another show, not right now, but might have another one in LA. So I'm talking to another owner out there for another gallery, and he's like, we're gonna probably plan something for that.
One of those. Stay tuned and find out more information. That's exciting, man. Glad that went well. Hopefully, definitely gonna try to make it out to the next one. Another thing that happened was yesterday. Big thing. Solar. Was it a solar or lunar eclipse?
Solar eclipse.
Solar eclipse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eclipse.
I get confused because it's like the moon was blocking the sun, right?
Yeah, I don't even know the difference. What's the difference between the other ones?
The lunar eclipse is when something gets in front of the moon.
Oh, okay.
And that's where you get that, like. But I don't know. It's just stuff that's way beyond my head. But anyways, the eclipse went on yesterday, and I've got some questions about it, but I'm just gonna like outright just speak off the top of my head. It's just like, kind of boring, kind of boring. Like everybody's hyping it up for weeks, and everybody's talking about it's gonna be this and it's gonna. It happened. It just kind of came and went. Us here in Southern California, would you say Central California, Southern California, whatever you want to call it?
Like Central.
We didn't really get to enjoy it the way that other parts of the country, Mazatlan, Mexico, and some parts of the middle of the country towards the East Coast got full eclipse. Totality. And we didn't get any of that. So for us, it wasn't as cool.
Right.
Did you have some of the glasses?
I had the glasses.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where did everybody get those?
We've had them for years. I guess my mom ended up having some, so it was cool to show Asher. But he just picked them on, looked at it, and liked it.
And he's like, cool.
Yeah.
I tell you, he gets it. He's like, cool story, nerd. All right, what else are we doing? Let's go to Target.
No.
Could you, those glasses by the way, he's wearing glasses right now. We don't have a camera on him, but would those glasses be fine, or are those specific?
I don't think so. No, you got any like specific ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, solar eclipse, lunar eclipse. I don't know what the hell it was. Kind of boring, at least on the West Coast. But I do know that there was a lot of hype, and there was a lot of conversations and conspiracies and biblical references to what this was. So I'm actually glad that you're here today because, what are some of the things that because to me, big dumb brain who knows nothing just kind of looked up, said, cool, and that was it for me. But if you can peel back certain layers of, is there going to be like certain ramifications or certain things that comes from this? Give me something interesting that maybe this eclipse wasn't as boring as I think it was.
One of the things that I think of right now is like the cities that it was going over in America were named Nineveh, and that's a reference in the Bible, specifically in the book of Jonah. And then a couple of things that were happening from like NASA and both CERN. CERN was kicking off their Hadron Collider. It's like a big thing where like protons, they shoot like 7-mile circular space trying to basically create the Big Bang.
Oh,
and yeah, it's
and
like
that was launched yesterday?
That was started up yesterday. And then NASA launched a couple of rockets towards the moon yesterday, which for who knows what reason specifically. Yeah. So I think there were some bigger things that we don't know that was going on that they're trying to do.
You're opening up a whole can of worms here. I love that. So that's more of a tease because I do we want to do a full interview like with Jake, the way you did with Eric. I think some of the stuff that you are certainly a lot more knowledgeable on than I am. And I just love having these conversations, whether it's aliens, whether it's these things that you were referencing about CERN.
Mandela effect.
Mandela effect. We agreed on one right now that there's a lot of stuff that, it's one of the, like, everything's just like one big magic trick. Kind of like, oh, look over here, while there's definitely something bigger going on behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So that's why I say like, oh, it's boring. But really, All right. Why is not NASA launching rockets on the
Right.
specific day? Why is CERN launching on this specific day when we have this eclipse? Like
Their logo is kind of weird too.
whose?
CERN's.
What is it?
It says CERN, and then it's like they're huge sixes all in like a
Oh, no.
spherical sort, and there's 666 essentially.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so it's like it's kind of sketches, you know, the fact that they kicked it off too. Put out these like Mandela effects, like when we talked about with like Chick-fil-A.
So the purpose of recreating the Big Bang is
One of the things the CEO was talking about is like possibly seeing something that's not from this reality, or maybe sending something to another reality, like opening portals, if you will.
Mhm.
It's kind of strange what they're trying to do.
But would it not like ruin this world, or
Yeah, possibly.
like could it be
Yeah.
like the end of the world as we know it, or just period end of us?
Who knows? I know it's definitely messing with things that are beyond our explanation, you know, like the whole alternate realities, or, you know, parallel universe. It's a trip.
It's a wild conversation that just I'm almost kind of scared to have it. Where you're like, oh they're talking about this. They're onto us, and then they come and find us. They're like, this.
They're
idiot.
gonna kick the podcast off.
They're gonna be like, this idiot's the one who we're scared of, and I'm like, they pull up the clip. I would just show them. I'll be like, look what I said about the eclipse. I said it was boring. This is the guy with threatened for him. But yeah, so eclipse, a lot of hype, a lot of news coverage. It was cool. Like, don't get me wrong. I actually really like watching the videos when it goes from like from like that little like sliver of sun to like full totality. It looks really cool.
Yeah, full totality is cool. It gets all dark everywhere.
Yeah, but because we didn't get that, it's like lame.
Did you see the shade though? Like if you look at shades on the floor from like a tree or something, it'll form little crescent.
I didn't
moons. Yeah.
notice that.
It's kind of a trippy. That's kind of cool.
So one thing that I was telling my buddy, I was in San Diego and we were mini golfing, and I only mentioned that I was in San Diego because I would never think to be golfing. Like, I don't know what time it was, like 2-3 in the afternoon here in Bakersfield. I would never do it. Like, I'd never be like, let's go to freaking Boomers and do, because it's way too hot, even
Right.
if it's not like the hot season right now. But over there, it's like a perfect like 63 degrees. And, you go out there and you do a little mini golf. But I did notice I likened it to it was almost like it looked like rainstorms or rain clouds, like kind of darker clouds. But there was still like some sun. So I was like, you did notice it a little bit, but there was definitely like a little bit of, oh no. Sorry, Stanford news. But so the sky did look a little bit darker, but that's pretty much all we got here, But I was kind of jealous of other parts of the world than the United States. I got to experience totality, nerds. So I have to kind of come on here and shut it down and be like, it wasn't that cool, even though that's jealousy speaking. Next thing I wanted to hit on is my shut the fuck up of the week. This one happened last week, and it's a story that I'm gonna tell, and I think it's a battle that a lot of people have. And I'm right there with you, whether you're on one side or you're on the other. Jake, do you have a shut the fuck up of the week? We'll get to yours in a second, but I want you to think of one
All
that
right.
we're kind of having a small conversation. Get it ready. So last week, went into Rev Nutrition. Big shout out, Rev. Love you. Love our Define as well. Go in there. I'm running low on some stuff. I had to go pick up some stuff. And I go in there, my boy, at SupDoc. Go check him out on Instagram. Guy's so knowledgeable about some of the supplements. You want to lose weight, you want to gain weight, you want to put on mass, you want to whatever you need, whatever you're looking for, my guy's going to help you. So I'm shopping around and I'm looking at some stuff and I'm looking at the new flavors of Define and I'm going through, and I hadn't seen him in some time. And he's big into like the weightlifting and doing all this. I always joke. I'm like, dude, I got to be like the most out of shape person who has a promo code with like, with Rev. Because everyone who does, it's like a big gym rat. And I'm just like, hey, listen to my podcast. It's like, yeah, I have one too, But so I'm in there shopping and I'm looking for like some Define. And we're talking about other supplements. And he asked me from far away, he's like, so what are you trying to do right now? Are you trying to lean out? And I was like, what do you mean am I trying to lean out right now? My whole life is a constant battle to try to lean out. I've been trying to lean out since the day I was born, dog. What are we talking about? What do you mean am I trying to go down? Are you trying to get shredded? I have been, and I'm constantly fighting this whole thing. And he's like, I just didn't know if you were in bulking season. Bulking season? Bulking season is me. I didn't go run for a week. That is me bulking. I put on weight so fast. So it's like my life is a constant battle of, are you trying to shred? Yes, I live on this. I'm trying to shred and I'm trying to lean out. And then we continue the conversation and I was like, what do you mean? I was like, what, are you not trying to shred? And he's like, I'm actually trying to bulk up to 230. And I was like, shut the fuck up. I was like, what do you mean? 230? I was like, you give me a week and a half of eating whatever I want, I will get to what you're trying to get to. So we're fighting two different battles. And I'm so jealous of the fact that I'm trying to get up to 230. Motherfucker, shut the fuck. Yeah. I'm trying to. And he's like, yeah, I've always struggled to keep on weight. And I was like, that's one, I have a lot of issues. That's one issue that I certainly do not have. So I'm in a constant battle to lean out and shred weight while he's in a constant battle to keep it on. And I don't know if I hate anybody or people more than who are like, yeah, I'm just trying to eat as much as I can and just trying to keep it on. Do you know how much I would love to be eating in and out every single night? I'd be like, you want to get to 230? I can teach you how. Give me a week and a half. I'll be your trainer. Do you have any, are you on either side of the fence there?
Definitely the opposite of yours.
Oh, fuck you, Jacob.
Fast metabolism.
Fuck you guys.
I had In-N-Out today, actually.
You guys
Double, grilled onions, light toast on the bun.
I'm going to shut you off now. That's enough of that. That is that's such a funny thing, man. It's just like the ultimate jealousy. I have to run so many miles and I have to, try to work out and do all these things, and I'm not like shredded or nothing, man. And y'all are just sitting here just living life, enjoying it, and just
you ever put on like the basically the trash bag and like to sweat?
I've never done that, but the saunas and everything.
Oh yeah,
and
the
like,
sauna. Yeah.
The belt that you put around your belly, it's kind of similar to that. It's just not a big trash bag that'll get you sweating. Done all that. I mean, hey, desperate times calls for desperate measures. But yeah, I was like, he said, "Are you trying to lean out right now?" But shut the fuck. Like, I'm always. This is a constant. There is no bulking season for me. There is nothing but shredding, leaning out season constantly. And he said, I'm trying to get up to 230. I said, shut the fuck up. That's my shut the fuck up of the week. What's yours?
I would say whenever you're talking to someone and they're trying to explain themselves, but you already know the truth of something, and they're just like lying, they're just continuing to go on, and I'm like, all right, shut the fuck up, right? Yeah. Like I already know. Like
where it's like this isn't your situation, but when someone like is trying to get out of like a lie, like, oh, I was cheating, or I was doing this, and it's just like, I already know exactly what happened in that situation because I know people that were there, or maybe I was there. You didn't know that I was there.
You heard it from someone else or whatever. Yeah.
And then it's just like a little kid, like and then it's just like, shut the fuck up.
My dog ate my homework.
Yeah, it ain't gonna work, sweetheart. But yeah, when people they're digging and you just watch them sink. Are you a guy who calls it out right there and there, or do you just let them?
No, I like to call it out, but I'll let it like marinate a little bit. Like, oh yeah, really? Oh, okay, yeah.
No way.
This is what I heard though is like
yeah, let him keep digging that shovel deeper and deeper and deeper, and then right at the end be like, "Oh, that's funny because Stacy told me you were at Casablanca, or what is it, Casa Tequila, one of those bars, like, oh really, huh? Yeah, that's funny." But you just let them watch them slowly dig themselves into a nice deep hole, and then bah!
It's the reaction after you kind of like explain it. It's like that.
And then
you're in the headlights.
Yeah, you get the really interesting, fascinating. So yeah, there you go. Shut the fuck up of the week. Don't be the guy who tells someone who's in a constant battle, I'm trying to get up to. If I could beat him up, I would, man. I would have thrown a couple punches. Nah, he's a cool guy. Sup, Doc? Check him out on IG. He works at Rev. He's a good buddy of mine. And yeah, don't be the person who. What is it? Like basically tells a lie to cover up another lie, and then you just get in a big old web. Yeah. It's fascinating. Got a couple things that we got a couple food stuff that we got to touch on. I think we're gonna do an episode on this, and actually, we may hit on this maybe next week. Do it sooner than later, but I think there's certain things that people pretend to like, right? And I'm not gonna get it. I'll save those specific ones for the episode in the podcast. Like, there's certain foods that I think people fake because it makes them look fancy, or it makes it look. It's like, I've tried it, I've done it. It's fucking disgusting, or it's weird, or it's just not good. But it looks elegant. It looks fancy.
It's for the gram.
It's for the gram. One thing that I don't get is the latest craze, I'm sorry, for like pickle stuff. How do you feel about pickle flavors, pickle juice, pickles in general? Are you a pickle guy?
I'm not a pickle guy. Not at all.
Okay, so can you do them like on a burger or anything like
I'll
that?
have it on a burger, yeah, but I'm not gonna just like I when someone's just ordering just the pickle and they're just eating it, like I'm like, nah, it's not.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not doing that.
That one weird girl at school who'd be like, I don't want fucking pickle, like, and they just walk around. You're like, it's just like, and then they get the juice from it and they drink that. It's like, what are we doing?
Gosh.
Pickleback shots. And people think they're like, you know what? I'm gonna get us some pickleback shots, thinking it's like a vibe, and I'm like, what do we do? That's
like the pickled glaze.
That's
That's gross.
So here's my rule with pickles. I like them on hamburger, or I like them with hamburgers.
I'll have it on a hamburger.
But listen, so if a pickle, like I order them on the side, right? I can't bite into a hamburger and think like, if I get, I may get a piece of a pickle or I may not. I need to be prepared mentally to be like, okay,
that you're gonna have that pickle bite.
That I'm gonna have that bite. So that's why I like to get it on the side. I'll take a bite and then I'll take a bite of the pickle, knowing fully when to expect. Sometimes some bites have a pickle, some bites don't. I need to be prepared because that is not a flavor that is.
I don't like it when
enough.
I'm okay with the circular pickles on the hamburger, but when it's like the whole long strip,
yeah,
you know, that's like too much pickle.
Yeah, you're
the
gonna
pickle
get
to burger ratio is off.
It's got there's got to be. There's definitely a ratio that needs to be upheld there. But yeah, I have to bite it on my own rather than trying to, you know, like, play the guessing game. Like, will there be a pickle here or there? It's like too strong of a flavor for it to just kind of ignore it and play the guessing.
It definitely is a strong flavor. Like, it throws it off to me, you know?
Absolutely. So April Fool's kind of went on since the last one, and I'm not going to elaborate too much on this, but I do have to admit something that happened. I got on April Fool's. And only because of the podcast. So I'm going to blame the podcast. We are willing to do just about anything for you. I'm willing to do this and try this and do weird things and go here and go there, blah, 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 whatever it is. So you may remember a couple of weeks ago, there was an announcement from 7-Eleven. And they came out and said, we are going to be releasing hot dog water seltzers. And I said, that's interesting. And I thought, hey, I didn't realize that April Fool's is right around the corner. So in my head, I was like, this is one of these things. And people do this. Like, people do weird combinations and weird things. And it's all just to get a spike in attention, which I get. Trust me. I have a fucking podcast. That's all we do, right? You do things to get a spike in attention, bring a little bit of attention. Doesn't have to go anywhere. So anyways, before last episode, I went down to 7-Eleven. I said, do you guys have the hot dog water seltzers? The people who were working there had no idea what the hell I was talking about. And then I realized shortly after, I was like, wait, April Fool's is right around the corner. And they said, yeah, we haven't heard about anything. We don't have anything. We blah, blah, blah. So I just come on here to admit that I got by 7-Eleven hot dog water seltzers because I went to go purchase them because I was going to bring them on the podcast and I was going to pop it right here. And I'm going to be like, you want to know how much I love you, listeners? I love you enough to drink this. I was going to go and be like, hot dog water seltzer test and flavor, whatever. Here we go. And then I was probably going to throw up, but it was going to do numbies. And in my world, numbies is what it's all about. So I got by that, thinking, not realizing that it was an April Fool's prank. You ever got for April Fool's?
Yeah, of course. Just can't remember.
Have you ever gotten anyone?
Yeah. Like back in the day, you know?
Yeah. I'm not good at getting people, man. Because I'm a horrible planner. A lot of these things, it's like, if you get someone good, you got to think about it like weeks in advance. You got to either set up the joke, set up the situation, hey, do you want to go to dinner on this day, like in 2 weeks from today? You're like, sure. I don't do anything 2
Like
weeks in
well, in
advance.
advance, yeah.
Yeah. If I think of something, I'm like, ooh, the night before, that'll be hilarious. And then by that time, they're like, no, I know what's going on.
But even then, if it's in advance, people are like, oh, what's, they're kind of like on guard, if we will,
Yeah. So, but yeah, I got, and I'm not proud of it. Here's a segment that we like to call just shut up and accept the information, right? We've done this before when they said that Italian food was actually healthy for you, and I did not care to read anything else but the headline. I accepted the information because I wanted the information to be true. I read another headline that said that ice cream is actually healthy for you. And that's the end of that segment. Ice cream is healthy for you. We don't need to elaborate, even though I will. I'm only going to read a paragraph out of this whole thing because I don't want anybody to start picking and, be like, well, actually, shut up. This is what it is. So a dietitian said that a scoop of ice cream every night in the context of an otherwise healthy diet is unlikely to ruin your health. She said it's a good source of calcium, magnesium, B12, and often provides enjoyment and nostalgia, which are important functions of food. I don't want to answer any questions. I'm accepting the information. Ice cream every night. This doctor said it's healthy. That's all we're doing on it. You got it? What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
Vanilla, classic.
Yeah?
Just go with classic, yeah.
Vanilla fella, huh? I like cookies and cream.
Cookies, yeah, it's bomb too.
Yeah, you give me a little bit of Oreos. I think it's vanilla ice cream just with Oreos.
Yeah.
Right? It's pretty much the same thing. Waffle cone or regular?
Waffle cone.
Gotta be the waffle. Yeah, give me all
Give me
that.
that crunch.
Oh my god, the crunch and the textures. Oh, it's just so freaking incredible. Morgan Wallen arrested in Nashville after, I don't know if he was just attending or performing or anything. He was at Eric Church's bar. And I'm going to read you what happened. So he's obviously been in some hot water in the past with the audio that came from the Ring camera that happened in 2021. Big story, blah, blah, blah. But now he is in trouble. And I'm sure a lot of you guys already saw this, but he was arrested on 3 felony counts of reckless endangerment and 1 misdemeanor count for disorderly conduct early Monday in Nashville after he allegedly threw a chair from a rooftop from a bar on Sunday night. And it said that it landed close to 2 police officers. So if you're throwing a chair think about how different this story was. Because now that he's smiling in the mugshot, I'm not bothered by any of this, but I do understand that public perception could be, like perception becomes reality in a lot of instances. It's not so much what your intent is, it's the result of it, right? So I'm just thinking about, so he threw a chair from a rooftop, right? Landed next to 2 cops. He gets arrested. And my whole thing is, how much different would our perception and would this whole story just be in general if, like, let's say that did land on someone, Jake. That's a chair from I don't know how many stories up. I could kill someone if
sure.
The leg hits you in the right part of the head. I mean, it's very like
definitely hospitalized him.
Dude, hospitalized. You never know what could happen. Like, he got lucky that nothing happened. Like, he got so lucky that it didn't hit anybody. Because this story would be, his career could be, like, really endangered. And you go through and you read the comments of, like, they're funny because they're like, oh, the ladies love Morgan Wallen. So they're like, oh, so that's why he's not texting me back. And it's funny.
Because he's throwing chairs out.
Yeah, because he got arrested. Oh, so that's why he didn't text me back. And it's like, he's innocent, But it's just like, it's such a fine line between like, how different would we be perceiving this whole thing if, he had actually killed someone, if someone actually got hurt, and especially if it was a cop, just kind of scary, man. And it's one of these things that like, I feel like every time he's gotten in trouble, which a lot of like this applies for everybody, I feel like it's always like alcohol related. So try to be careful for that. Just something that happened Monday. I remember my buddy woke me up. He's like, bro, you see Morgan Wallen arrested? And it's one of those things that you're like, what did he do now? And he's like, he threw a freaking chair. which is funny. And then you're like, oh, he threw it from a rooftop, and it was just like, damn, somebody really could have got hurt.
Yeah.
But so yeah, Morgan Wallen. Let's get it together, pal. Let's get it together. We are pretty much wrapped up with our topics, our content. I'm gonna give you since you're filling in for Eric, I'm gonna give you a trivia question. You ready?
All right.
All right. Before we get into our trivia question, want to remind y'all: Rev Nutrition stores. Anywhere you are in Bakersfield, go check them out. Southwest, North. Is that recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to go.
Red dot. I said red dot.
North, east, south, west, Bakersfield, wherever you are, they got a store near you. So go check them out. Use a promo code or just mention the podcast. You'll get you 20% off your entire purchase, which is actually a huge discount when it comes to this stuff. So jump on over there. Make sure you get you some Define, get whatever else you need. Again, whatever your goals are. You want to lose weight. You want to gain weight, like some of the lucky, fortunate ones who have to fight to gain weight. Not that I'm jealous or anything. They got you taken care of. You want protein. You want pre-workouts. You want everything. They got you taken care of. You want to live a better life, feel healthier, be more active. Rev Nutrition, big shout out to them. Again, mention the podcast, get you 20% off. Also, get you some good sleep. You'll feel better all around. Check out my buddy C's at the Mattress Space Furniture Outlet, Buck Owens Boulevard in Bakersfield. Best prices in town. Tell them we sent you. They will take care of you. You ready for a trivia question?
Let's do it.
This one's a fun one. And I'm sure you've been a single guy at some point in your life. Maybe you lived alone or not.
Never.
Really?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like-
of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
so listen to this. Half of all single men admit to doing this just 4 times a year. And you get 2 guesses.
4 times?
Yeah, 4 times a year. I'll give you the same 2 guesses that I give Eric. And
Single
depending on
guys
how
do this 4 times a year.
Yeah, so half of single men admit to doing this just 4 times a year. So they only do this 4 times a year. So when you say admit, that means like you probably should do this a little bit more than 4 times a year. Ponder that one.
I'm gonna say like manscaping.
Manscaping, no. Man, if you're only manscaping 4 years, 4
That's
times
pretty
a year,
low.
that's rough. Talk about not seeing any action. Sorry.
Let's see.
Inappropriate joke. Do you manscape, by the way?
Yeah, I manscape.
You manscape right now?
Yeah, I hate the hair.
Do you use Manscaped, the product?
Actually, that's funny because I was using that thing, and the warranty on that shit was the battery died like hella quick, bro. So I'm no
You got to
longer-
send that back to him.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, the warranty's 90 days," and it was like just over that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, how convenient! It's only 90 days."
So my quick story on Manscaped is I bought it, I used it, and you know how they say you can take it in the shower?
Yeah.
I took it in the shower, and it like literally like a week later was no longer like turning on.
Yeah, that's what I was using mine in the shower.
And I was like, yeah, because it's way cleaner to use it that way. And then I told them, I was like, this isn't working anymore. Sent it back. They sent me a brand new one. It's fantastic
You're still in the 90 days. You were still in the 90
Yeah,
days.
I was still within it. But anyways, back to
So that was, 4 times in a year is pretty rough.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. The
So
other
no.
one, maybe just a dry spell. They ain't getting no action.
Nope. So incorrect. Half of all men admit to doing this just 4 times a year. Cleaning the toilet.
Oh wow.
Cleaning the toilet.
Man, that's
which is the most like
crazy.
frat boy shit I've
Yeah.
ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all been in those situations, but I'm telling you, even when we were all living together in a house and we were all going to school, like I cleaned that toilet.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you that it was like every weekend, but it was definitely a lot more than 4 times a year.
Right.
I just can't do that nasty shit, man.
Man, you have a guest over and they see that shit
And that's
4 times.
honestly,
That's every 3 months.
yeah, that means nobody's
months
coming
of-
over to see you. You're getting no action, and you're probably manscaping
Yeah.
also 4 times a year.
No, you see the manscaping right there around the toilet.
You probably don't clean that up either.
Oh wow.
It's been sitting there for 6 months. I haven't got no ass. That's how we're going to wrap up the podcast. Things are getting weird, Jake. Thank you for filling in for our producer, Eric. Keep us posted on the next art show and look forward to having you on the podcast. I'm going to do a full recap of. We're going to talk about aliens. We're going to talk about pyramids. We're going to talk about this Big Bang that that is like being fabricated.
The Hadron Collider, yeah.
Yep. We're going to talk about.
It'll be interesting.
It's going to be a freaking Joe Rogan podcast.
For sure.
So tune in for that. Sooner than later, we got to get that scheduled in. But until next time, do you have any last messages? Anything you want to say?
Nah. I'm gonna share this drawing with you guys. That would be pretty cool.
Hell yeah. We'll post that on our I Love You Say It Back podcast. Speaking of, follow the podcast at ILY Say It Back pod. Follow Jake at Jake.Flores.
Yep.
And myself at Vic D Radio in the Creative Haven, Creative Crew. Check it out. Until next time, I love you. Say it back.
Dope.
You didn't say it back.
Oh, I love you too.
Okay. I wasn't going to let you get away with that. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was dope, man.